with the face who runs the place, T-Roy, the OG on the marquee, Jaybird, and the cat who runs the chat with the stats, Statman Surge. We are Don't Hassle Us, We're Local. We're not a Quad City Sports Talk radio show. We're not the Quad City Sports Talk radio show. We are your Quad City Sports Talk radio show. Welcome to the conversation, Quad Cities. But first, the Dawn.
All right, everybody, it's a beautiful Tuesday out there in Quad City land, like Lunch Lady Land.
Disneyland.
Jay didn't get invited to lunch. I'm in big trouble, but hey, we're going to start Tuesday out in the right foot. We had interesting night of Monday Night Football. We get baseball coming up this evening. The Dodgers with the chance to close out.
First time since 1988.
And later on, we have T-Roy's Power Rankings, Week 8 edition.
Definitely talk about that. And then the second hour.
Find out how good I think your team is.
In the second hour.
Because I know my team sucks.
Have sports fan, comedian, impressionist, Craig Gass, who's going to be at the Rhythm City on Thursday.
This guy's been on numerous of the animated series. What Family Guy? He's done voices for?
Family Guy, American Dad. He's been on The King of Queens. He was on Sex and the City. He was on the Howard Stern show. These guys got story. He did the roast of.
Well, he's hit rock bottom now.
Yeah.
He goes from Howard Stern to us.
Yeah.
Poor guy.
I know. I mean, I think that's where he met Artie Lang or whatever else. So, I mean, he'll have all kinds of stories. Like, he's got Eddie Van Halen stories.
See, those are what I'm interested in. So this guy's got to be close to my age, I'm assuming.
Yeah. I mean, I shared on our social media earlier, I shared a YouTube clip of him, I think when he was at a Baltimore radio station. He's got stories of hanging out with Metallica. He's got stories of going to Super Bowls. Like, he's got stories of when he would open up for concerts when they used to have comedians do it. You know what I'm saying? And so it doesn't, where this conversation in the second hour goes, it is not guided at all. Like, we're just going to let him go.
We might not even take a break.
Yeah, we're just going to let him go.
You're damn right we are.
So the thing is, we want to remind everyone, though, he has two shows on Thursday night at Rhythm City Casino, and you can check out and buy tickets there. I think they're relatively
Speaking of Rhythm City, don't we have Jake today?
I haven't heard back from him. Usually we're supposed to have him around 12:30 on every Tuesday to call in, talk about the Elite Sportsbook, but I have not heard anything back from him today to confirm it. So it is what it is. But no, we got all kinds of things going on. We have to talk about last night, obviously. The Rams never really looked like they were ever in trouble in this game. Not one bit. So
no, like Van said to me, he goes, well, the Bears are finally exposed. And I said, I mean, yeah, no. I mean, the Rams have a very good defense. And they have a very good coach who allowed their quarterback to not succumb to the pressure that the Bears can bring. There were a lot of quick outs, Jay.
Yeah.
A lot of different things, a lot of times they were trying to spread that defense.
But isn't that the good thing? Isn't that good on the Rams though to wear down the Bears defense?
Yeah, I mean that's the thing. I don't think the Bears are necessarily bad. Mm-hmm. I don't know if they're as good as you think they are.
No, I mean I don't want to take anything away and just be like, oh, they are who we thought they were.
No, and I mean, listen, you're
the defense is really good. The defense scored their only touchdown.
Right.
But the Rams controlled the clock, and the majority of time when you see the way the clock, the differential is, you're going to say, yeah, it's no brainer that the other team won. Rarely do you see it opposite. So the Rams came out with a good game plan, and they were at home. I don't think, did I have this one even listed ahead of time? And no, I had it listed on a loss when I had them at a 10-6 season. I had this listed as a loss on the road.
You picked them in the pick'ems.
Well, I don't know why I went against my preseason. Yeah, but if you
hadn't, you would have tied me and Leah for the win, but you didn't.
Yeah, but I did a pick 'em just to drive you guys nuts, but yeah.
Seattle doesn't get screwed, and Atlanta doesn't go Atlanta. I must get them all right.
Almost. Well, that's the other thing I want to do in the
beginning
of the first hour or whatever is look at all the game lines because I have I stumbled across a different type of pool that I'm not invited in, which I would have enjoyed to. It's almost like almost like a super.
It's almost like lunch.
Almost like lunch, yeah.
You
I
know,
could have
can't
invited
invite
myself
us
to lunch. Don't beat yourself up. I could have said like, "What are you doing?"
I'm giving
later?
you a hard time. I really, yeah. If I really felt I was having lunch, I would have invited you to lunch.
Some odd news out of Madison.
Yeah, everybody's got the vid.
Yeah, which kind of opens up the Big Ten West a little.
Maybe they've been going to Smut and Eggs on Sundays up there.
Oh, maybe, yeah. But with this news that Graham Mertz tested positive for the second time for COVID, and that means he's out for 3 games as far as the Big Ten, even though the CDC tells you have 10 days or whatever else, right? The Big Ten it's 21 days. So he'll be out for Nebraska, Purdue, and Michigan.
Well, I would say
Does that make
Michigan makes a huge difference. Nebraska and Purdue, it may. How good's his backup?
Wasn't he was a redshirt freshman? No, one was already hurt. Wisconsin was. This is
So they're down to the.
Yeah, this was the redshirt freshman. Yet their starter was hurt, ankle injury.
Well, this isn't good. I mean, Nebraska can't be that bad where they're going to get beat by a.
No, Nebraska's decent. I mean, Adrian Martinez is good. So, what I'm thinking is, does this make the loss to Purdue hurt more or less?
More, because you needed that. You needed that victory.
Mm-hmm.
You needed it over Purdue. It's just as much as you needed to help you in the rankings, because now the one that you thought was the favorite to come out of your West is going to lose to numerous people. So now we really have to win out.
Yeah. Well,
I mean, seriously, they have to win out.
They won. Well, yes, I
Who's
believe
that
so.
fella right there?
What?
What's going on here?
It looks like Everson Griffin is on the trading block, even though Jerry Jones has said, it's reported that he's on the trading block, even though Jerry Jones said, these are my guys, and also he's my guy, Mike McCarthy. So he's locked in for the year, I guess.
He's an idiot.
He sure is. And then did you see that the Baltimore Ravens signed Des Bryant to the practice squad?
There you go.
Everything old is new again? I guess I have no idea.
Yeah, good luck with that.
Antonio Brown goes to the Buccaneers. Des Bryant is on the playoff squad. All right.
Dude, the Buccaneers got good really fast.
Yeah.
I mean, once they got it together, they look really good right now. Just think of their last 2 weeks of football. They housed the Packers and they housed the Vegas Raiders.
Well, it's the Vegas Raiders, but
Vegas Raiders that just beat Kansas City. And they had a bye.
Okay, that's fair.
And they went into their house and housed them.
So
let's just think about this.
I know. So Brady's going to win GM of the year.
Of course he is.
Yeah.
And he's going to probably win comeback player of the year.
Why would he be a comeback player?
I don't know. Why not?
I
say give Brady everything.
Well, the joke is that
and then he can retire.
That he's a GM. He's the one that got everybody to come there. I mean, he got Gronkowski.
Well, is he not? I mean, all right. If we're going to sit here and praise LeBron James for going out there and getting people coming to play with him and leading the league and showing the league how it's done, can't we be the same with Brady? Do we have to have this anti-patriot thing always with him? Are we just automatically going to hate him for success? Is that the new American thing? Oh, you're successful, so now we hate you?
No, but the new thing is it was never a Belichick thing. It was always a Brady thing. That's the narrative now of the talking heads. Who was
End of the day,
who was
Brady
the one?
had to throw the football.
Yeah, I know. Hey, don't get me wrong. It's amazing.
And by the way, if you look at Belichick's record before he had Brady, I'm talking about when he coached the Cleveland Browns. I'm talking about his record with the Patriots before Brady got there. Just go look it up.
I understand
Maybe it is
that,
a lot,
but
Brady.
somebody had to have the wherewithal to be like, sorry, Drew Bledsoe, I know you're back, but we're going to stick with Tom Brady.
Okay, that's fine, but Brady proved himself and took over the spot.
That being said, if you actually go back and do the story of Drew Bledsoe, Brady was like, he's never getting a spot back. So he basically went out and just he said from jump, he's like, this is now my gig. He told his teammates, he's like, he's not getting his job back. So basically Brady, his play, one, did it, but two,
was attitude.
Yeah, his attitude, everything else. He carried it, and good for him. Yeah.
Well, that's what he needed to do. Seriously. I mean, what do you, I'm just going to do it for a little while, guys.
No.
We can win the Super Bowl together because I don't have a job next year. No. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah, I agree with what you're saying. I'm saying
if Case Keenum had done that in Minnesota, maybe.
Minnesota might be in a different story, huh?
You never know. My boy Ace.
Yeah.
Sure did love me some Ace Keenum.
No, it's Tampa Bay looks really, really good, and it's to the point where it's. Gosh, I mean, look at this guy. I mean, he pretty much changed New England sports.
Yeah.
Came in, won a Super Bowl. 3 short years later, the curse is broken. Yeah. Which, by the way, that anniversary is Today.
Oh boy.
Of the 2004.
So I don't have to guess that when you bring it up.
No, the 2004. I got a stat for you later to guess. But today is the curse of the Bambino was broken today in 2004. So you have that in between. The Celtics won in 2008, and the Bruins won during that time too. Right? And then you have how many Super Bowls, whatnot. Now look at, since he signed at Tampa Bay, what's happened? The Lightning won the NHL after bowing out in the first round. Tampa Bay Rays.
They're in it. They have a chance.
And the Buccaneers are probably the team in the? They're probably the number 1 team in the NFC.
Probably, yeah. Yeah. They probably are. You never know what my power rankings will
This guy, man.
Listen, I lived all those years. I mean, yeah. Did I despise the Patriots a little bit? Yeah. But at the same time, I mean, you recognize greatness and you see it. Now you see that loss. I'm telling you what brought that Tampa Bay team together, hands down, was the loss to the Bears on Monday Night Football. Or was it Thursday Night Football? It was
Thursday
night.
All
right.
Thursday night. Yeah.
Either way, you remember it. They were getting after Brady a little bit.
Oh yeah, it was a 4th down. Remember, he's like, "Was that 4?" It came off.
Brady's screaming at people.
Yeah, they were in the.
And then I'm telling you right now, they listened. That wasn't. That's not a team of a bunch of.
No,
he yelled at them, and they were like, "Okay."
The team went. Was it against the Packers? I'm pretty sure it was against the Packers. Yes, the Buccaneers went the entire game with 0 penalties.
Yeah,
which. Last year they were Last year they were the most penalized team.
Or 13-0.
Last year they were the most penalized team. So you have the quarterback whisperer, Bruce Arians, but now you have someone that's making everyone hold accountability.
Yeah.
Like you remember last year when we did the you could read the lips and the audio or whatever, and Philip Dorsett doesn't run the route, and it's off sidelines afterwards, and Tom Brady goes, "I lost all trust in him. I'm not throwing him the ball anymore." And this is like week 5 of the season. He's like, "I'm done with him. I've lost all trust." And this is during the game. It's not like in close quarters afterwards or anything. He just says to random people once a year, like, "I'm done with him." You're right. I think he just screamed and yelled, and when someone raised their voice, he raises louder and said, "I don't know who you think you're talking to.
You run your damn route the way you're supposed to run it. I'll put the ball where it's supposed to be."
You go look up GOAT. In the dictionary, there's my picture. So I'm gonna speak, and you guys are gonna listen.
Then he unzipped his pants, so there you go.
Yeah. Do you want to see my Super Bowl rings? It's crazy. It's crazy what he did for New England in that area for championships, and what Tampa Bay is like now is nuts.
I don't know. I like watching people have fun playing football. I like watching football be fun. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. That's why I liked the Case Keenum thing. Like watching that, like watching good players. It almost was like I had fun watching Baker Mayfield, of all things, the other day. I got to watch the end of that game.
Okay.
And I'm not saying Baker's great or anywhere in this, but it's fun when you're watching guys have fun do it, especially in a slugfest like that. Same thing with the Cardinals and the Seahawks.
Yeah, there's 100%. Like same thing with DK Metcalf coming from behind and
yes,
saving that touchdown. That's fun. That's exciting. You get to look at, what was he at, 26, 22 miles per hour?
22.6 miles an hour. He almost hit 23 miles an hour.
And then he covered 118 yards in that play.
Pretty sure he's faster than most. I mean, he's got to be.
That stuff is fun.
I guarantee he can outrun the wiener dog. Right?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I don't see a wiener dog running that fast.
No, I don't think so.
I mean, what do you think that what average dog do you think he can outrun? Because dogs are pretty damn fast.
I don't know. I don't. Could he outrun Rowdy?
I don't know if he can outrun a lab. But let's just say like a corgi.
So. Yes.
Does he outrun a corgi?
Absolutely.
I think so. How about like a chihuahua?
I don't know how fast they are.
See, that's what I'm getting at. Some dogs are faster than others. I mean, the greyhound obviously is the fastest dog. But this dude was cooking, man. 23 miles an hour. Wasn't it? Gosh, I can't remember who the player was, but someone said on Twitter they wanted to see him after the season against a cheetah.
I don't know who wrote that either. But that's, again, like you said, people having fun, whatever else. It makes it more contagious to watch the game. You just,
Yeah.
it reminds you of those
Well, that's why
times,
when they,
backyard or whatever else.
When you got to explain to your wife that hates football, why do we have to watch every game? Well, because maybe the game that you wanted to watch, maybe your team really sucks right now and your owner sucks.
So
and there's nothing to root
there's
for.
nothing else to do.
There's nothing to do but bury your head in the sand and put a nail between your eyeballs. I don't know. That's why, honey.
Ugh.
Because I want to watch something good. I want to watch a good product on the field. I want to see like a rookie, like a Justin Herbert or a Joey Burrow, be successful, make touchdown passes that look easy, that have a 30% completion percentage chance. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Those next gen stats, if you will.
Now you mention that, and before we go to break, we'll talk about this quick. Because you just brought up Justin Herbert and Joe Burrows.
What was the knock on Herbert, too, going into the draft, by the way? Drafted number 6 overall. Accuracy. That was his knock.
I don't know why there was a knock on anything to go with him. He was going to come out the year before.
Our
he
girl
stayed
Emily
for one,
said the dude was a stud from go.
I like the guy. He stayed at Oregon for one more year because he wanted to play with his little brother. That right there tells me a lot about him. That's why he stayed one extra year. Now, the other thing we have not talked about the Cincinnati Burrows, do you know Joe pushed on week 1 and he's covered the spread every week since? He has not covered the spread yet.
I'm sure he'd rather win football games than worry about that spread.
Yeah. I know, but still, there's a little tidbit.
God, you really love you, Joe Burrow.
I really do. I really do.
You know what? I already know what I'm getting you for your birthday.
I'm not wearing a jersey.
Oh, you wear a hat.
No, I'm not wearing
Or a
maybe.
jacket.
Oh.
Yeah. You look good in orange and black.
I probably would. I look good in a lot of things, though. What I'm asking you is, because every year now, we get a list of 2 to 3 good quarterbacks.
As in 2 to 3 good coming out of college quarterbacks? Yep. Okay.
Do you, as a GM, sign Dak to a big deal, or do you just say, hey, there's some guys here. There's some guys out there?
Oh, man.
Because this could be a legitimate thing coming up. Like where you're at in the draft. I mean, I know you looked at some mock drafts last week.
Yeah.
We know Trevor Lawrence is the number 1 overall, but there's still Justin Fields out there, and there's got to be more. I mean, Joe Burrows is going to emerge. You got the guy from South Dakota State, or North Dakota State. Sorry, North Dakota. I forget.
Yeah, the Bison.
Yeah,
North Dakota State. I think Dak,
right there.
I think Dak is special. I really do. I think he can do things that other quarterbacks can't right now. Yeah, there's 2 or 3 that come out every year, but look at Sam Darnold. Okay? Really hasn't done much. Look at Josh Rosen, who was of that draft class that we thought.
I really liked Rosen.
And from UCLA, yeah, and I thought Rosen was going to be the one that fit the bill.
Mm-hmm.
6'5", whatever. Never even got a chance. He never really got a sniff to do anything.
Mm-mm.
Now the guy's just sitting. I think he's a backup.
Tampa Bay.
Good spot to be a backup.
I hope so. I hope for him. I would love for this story to be different.
Yeah.
I would love that he
but
learns.
As of right now, I mean, he basically got burned by the system. Lamar Jackson's turned out well. Russell Wilson was a shot in the dark. Him and Dak are coming from the same type of thing, drafted late. Russell was drafted fourth round.
Yeah. Oh, that.
You follow what I'm saying?
No. Yeah.
Same thing with Jimmy G.
Uh huh. But
I mean, the Bears struggle. By the way, the Bears and the Vikings struggle to find a quarterback all the time. Mm-hmm. Matt Stafford's never really done anything with his career, so I don't know, man.
Got the second most come from behind victories since but how many drafted.
How many?
It's a
how
terrible
many
stat.
wins?
I'm sorry.
I'm just saying, Matty Ice.
It's a terrible stat to have. Be like, oh, he's got the
Tua
number
hasn't
2.
done anything yet.
He's gonna start
Josh Allen
now.
looks very good.
Yep.
Big Ben is what he is. Big Ben's a Hall of Famer, hands down.
The thing is
Baker Mayfield.
Question is,
there's questions about Baker Mayfield.
Would you make the gamble though, to that you're going to find one in the first round and not sign Dak?
You don't make.
Put your money somewhere else.
Right now I just started going through that when you had me thinking. When I'm going through my head, I feel we might be in the golden age of quarterbacks. We might have better quarterbacks in the league now than we ever had, ever.
Hands down. 100%.
I mean, there's very few of them that I would say, bum, I don't want. I mean, I'll just say, I don't want.
But we could go ahead and like we did last year with Vasco, and we could be like, is this guy really in the league backup-wise? But as far as starting quarterbacks go right now, hands down.
Yeah. I think we got some really talented dudes. And a lot of that is because we have better coaching. And
they're also doing more. They're growing up doing 7-on-7 camps and everything else, and the system changing. And our friend Emily Van Buskirk, the philosophy, the coaching philosophy has changed. It's not more like a power eye or whatever else.
Right.
So now we're more
rules have changed in the NFL to make it easier per se.
Yeah.
You still have to put the ball in the spot, but yeah. No, you keep Dak.
Okay.
You look what he did the first 4 games of the season. I mean, he was on pace. Now, granted, I don't think he was going to keep that pace. I mean, no one's going to throw for over 400 yards every game. Although it looked like he was going to have to with that defense, that Mike Nolan defense. I wonder if he's related to you, Corey Nolan.
All right, let's take a break. When we come back, let's look at your power rankings. Compare them to SI.com.
Locally owned and operated in the Quad Cities since 1934, Tri-City Equipment is your choice for restaurant equipment and value. They have the competitive prices and full service that all of you Quad Cityans need. Remember, they have anything from kitchen cookware, refrigeration, utensils, tableware, you name it. They have a guarantee of 30 days on labor and 90 days on parts. If you're just looking to cater an event or you have a home chef that you want to spoil, check them out online at tricityequipment.com or stop down to 527 West 4th Street in Davenport and check out their newly remodeled 2,400 square foot showroom with over 1,600 items in stock. Remember, they do deliver to all Quad City residents and they match online pricing. Give them a call today, 563-322-5382. Ask for Kevin or Kurt. They'll be taking care of you. Showroom hours are 8 to 5, Monday through Friday. Once again, Tri-City Equipment, 527 West 4th Street in Davenport.
You like that? You like that? Woo!
Give me a hell yeah! I said give me a hell yeah!
This is Josh Sides, head coach, St. Ambrose University Esports. You're listening to Don't Hassle Us. We're
Football
local.
is back at the Double Crown. No fans allowed in the stands, so get the best seats possible at the Double Crown Bar and Grill. During all big college football games, enjoy $5 pitchers of domestics and $2 wells. Stop in for lunch during the week. Tuesday is all-you-can-eat wings and Friday nights all-you-can-eat fish, both for just $11. Plus happy hour daily from 2 till 6. For daily specials, find them on Facebook. Double your fun every day at the Double Crown Bar and Grill, 217 Brady Street, downtown Davenport.
Janae and Golick Jr.
Janae, through all of, Russell Wilson, we know he's a lot, from Mr. Unlimited to the weird video announcing his contract staying in Seattle, the bubble water, his bad dance moves behind Sierra's music videos. Through all of it, he's still winning. I would trust him and Tyler Lockett with my PIN number, with any amount of money that I needed in my life. These guys are the surest bet in pro sports right now, and it's nice. We always like to say give people flowers while they can still smell them. Russell Wilson has been this quarterback. This is not a new version of him as far as I'm concerned, but it's a new version of this team putting its offense in his hands. He's getting all of the conversation around him and his ability that he's richly deserved for a while. And so in the interest of giving people their flowers, I'm really happy to see this on a fundamental level for a guy who's been playing this kind of ball and been meeting this kind to his team.
Janae and Golick Jr. 306 on the Quad City Sports Leader, ESPN 1170. The Max Kellerman Show.
Kendrick Perkins.
Max, you argued me down on first take about how good of a player Chris Middleton was.
No, I didn't.
And I told you, yes, you did. And I told you that he wasn't that type of guy, right? But he did play. Oh, I'm making stuff up.
I argued for Chris Middleton. No, I said Chris Middleton should be at best the third best player on a championship team. You need another dude who can go get his own shot and do it on a higher level than Middleton if you want to pair him with Giannis to win a championship. I never said anything different than that. I wasn't thinking the Bucks were going to win a title this year.
So did you have the Bucks coming out of the East?
Yep. I sure did. Shut up, Perk. Why are you bringing up old stuff?
The Max Kellerman Show. Weekdays at 2 on the Quad City Sports Leader, ESPN 1170.
Premier Metal Art is now licensed and trademarked with the University of Iowa to produce and sell Hawkeye's metal art. Made here in the Quad Cities. Order your customized fire pit in 3 different sizes, perfect for tailgating. Premier Metal Art also has Hawkeye's multi-layer pieces, perfect for your home and man cave. It's not too early to order for Christmas, so get your custom Hawkeye's order in now. Call 563-345-9500. Premier Metal Art, Eldridge, Iowa, on Facebook or online at qcpremier.com. Finish your holiday shopping today.
This is your home for Cyclone football. We are the Quad Cities Sports Leader, ESPN 1170.
Welcome back. This is Don't Ask Us a Local on AM 1170.
All right, buddy. I'm going to pull up the old fire up my once a week SI.com, even though I am a subscriber, which I get it once a month now. I don't know why I am a subscriber to SI, but I still am.
Are you really?
Yeah. It's my Christmas gift every year. Now it's like down to a month thing.
I mean, I remember, like, especially when I was in the military, like, that was the one thing, like, especially when we were deployed. Oh, I got my SI.
Heck yeah.
Man, it's gone downhill.
I know. The back page with
Rick Rubin. Yeah, Rick Rubin's back page was always really good, but they always had like some up and comer like high school kid that you should keep your eye on from like
Faces in the Crowd.
500 different sports.
Faces in the Crowd.
Yeah, was that what it was called?
Yeah.
All right.
They have that, and they have the I love the Where Are They Now stories. That's my favorite issue of SI.
They used to have great writing. Remember when they fooled everybody with the picture from from Australia.
Yeah, and every
Sid Finch, right?
Yeah, that's right. And every paragraph started with a letter that came out spelled April Fools. Yeah, it's a great story. But you know, hey, print media's
all
in
good
trouble.
Things must come to an end.
Yeah. All right. So we got the. Let me do. It's not coming to the end because I still get subscriptions.
It's coming to an end, Jay.
Oh, you says you.
Do you get the digital version of the swimsuit?
No, you can opt out of that. I've never been a big.
You opt out of it?
I just don't really. I've never been.
I mean, I'm gonna look at it. You're gonna.
Like the only year I remember is like when it was like their entire it's all gonna be painted on swimsuits. That's the only year I ever
I just Rebecca Romaine.
Mm-hmm.
That's mine.
All right, it's time to do the T-Roy Power Rankings.
All right, everybody. Each week on Tuesday, I like to go through and tell you what I think, what my eye test, if you will, is giving me for the NFL and the greatest teams of the greatest sport. And I don't think there's going to be a lot of changes at number one, Jay. They are the only undefeated team.
There you go.
In the NFL, and they are the Pittsburgh Steelers.
Yeah.
And they did what they needed to do. They went on the road, and they beat Tennessee.
Connor Orr is the writer for this on the SI this week. I know it's been a couple other guys here and there, and they used to do it that they would make they'd talk to their staff of 13 to 19. We've seen the staff dwindle. I think T-Roy and I actually kind of covered why just a few minutes ago. But Connor has, from SI.com, has the Pittsburgh Steelers at number one on the power rankings.
Way to go, Connor. Way to not screw it up, bud.
What is your next in the power rankings?
My next in the power rankings right now, Jay, impressive win on the road as well. I bumped up the Kansas City Chiefs. They added Le'Veon Bell this week. I just think the Chiefs are still the defending Super Bowl champions, and you have to give them respect where it's due.
Connor at SI.com agrees with you at number 2 at 6-1. He has the Kansas City Chiefs. Can we pause here for a second?
Yes, sir.
21-point favorites against the Jets.
Yeah.
I didn't look it up, and during our next break, please remind me to look it up if this is the biggest spread ever in the history of the NFL.
During the regular season, okay.
During the regular season, yes.
It might be.
I think it might. Make sure to look it up. All right, so 21-point favorites. Okay. And I said this yesterday, and I'll say it again. New York Jets, you are a professional football franchise. Get it together.
Yeah.
And you are allowed to stop being fans of the Jets if you want to. I don't care what anyone says you like, oh, you're bandwagon. Go ahead. Jump on something else. Why you would want to hitch your wagon to this dumpster fire is beyond me.
I feel the same way about a team out of Texas.
Well, maybe. Yeah, we could look at that a little bit later.
That's just unreal. I mean, the Jets have an excuse. They suck. They're supposed to suck.
All right, who do you have at number 3?
At number 3, did a lot of time talking about him. He's the GOAT, Thomas Brady.
Oh, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Tom Terrific. TB12.
I know they got 2 losses on the year, but man, they look good right now.
Connor from SI has the Seattle Seahawks at number 3 at 5-1.
You know, not a bad call. I'm going to tell you what. If Seattle does win that game, which I think they should have, Seattle would still be at my number 2. So Seattle's not a bad team, but as you watch that game, what did it give you? Did you worry a little bit about that defense?
Well, Russell Love Muscle just kind of hurt himself a little bit in the MVP conversation. That's about it. But they'll bounce back. It's a tough division. We talked about it yesterday. Anywhere from 3 to 4 teams could make it to the playoffs, which is insane. So, good, strong division. They play well outside of their division. And the Rams prove that they're worthy of a little bit of more talk besides just beating up on the NFC East teams. At number 4.
Number 4, I have the Seattle Seahawks.
Okay. Connor from SI has the Baltimore Ravens.
Well, in Connor's defense, I feel that other than the Steelers, 2 through 7 is very muddled for me. And you can tell by my crossing offs over here. There's a lot of really good teams in 2 through 7 that any given Sunday, yeah. But yeah, I'm fine with him there. That's okay.
At number 5,
Green Bay Packers. Bounce back after a loss on the road, come out and they take care of business, just like it was nothing. They're going to be a force to be reckoned with.
At number 5, they finally have, he has listed Tampa Bay Buccaneers.
Okay. Well, let me guess his 6 then.
Okay.
His 6 is going to be Green Bay.
It is not.
Wow, because my 6 is Baltimore. Who's his 6?
The Tennessee Titans.
Okay. Well, then my Tennessee Titans are at 7, so he has Green Bay at 7?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Absolutely. Nailed it.
So him and I, 1 through 7.
Yeah, there's just some interchangeable
parts. Okay.
Yeah.
At number 8, I have the Buffalo Bills.
So does Connor at 5-2.
Oh, Connor.
Then at 9, you have
the New Orleans Saints.
He does not have that.
Who does he have?
The Arizona Cardinals.
He's crazy. He is crazy.
He's also saying that the Cardinals need to land another receiver at the trade deadline, but I don't know if that's going to be possible.
Yeah, who's going to trade who?
So you had the Saints at 9. I think you're higher on the Saints than you should be.
Okay, well, we'll see.
Okay. At number 10.
The 49ers.
He does not have the 49ers.
Who's he got?
He has the Los Angeles Rams.
Okay.
And then he goes on to say, when Sean McVay is cooking, there are not many coaches in the league who can match wits. I want this verb to leave the sports world. Like this was said on Twitter on Saturday. Somebody tweeted out, "Let Petrus cook." This thing started somewhere in the Seattle fandom on Reddit or whatever else about Russ Wilson. And Seattle will just let Russ cook. So now it became to get this verb. Russ is cooking, let Russ cook. And now it's grown into Sean McVay is cooking or let Petrus cook. Like, I want this to go away. I don't like this. I don't know where you're at on this, or you're looking at me like you wish I wouldn't have this take or something. I don't know, but
no, let these people cook. Whatever. I don't know. It's stupid.
Yeah, it's just not my thing. All right.
At 11, I have the Rams.
He has the New Orleans Saints.
Okay. So then at 12, I'm going to assume he has the 49ers?
Nope.
I have Arizona. Who does he get at 12?
The Cleveland Browns.
Okay.
So that's 3 teams from the AFC North. That's impressive. In the top 12. Then at 13, he has the 49ers.
All right. At 13, I have the Colts.
Oh, okay. He is not as big on the Colts as you are there.
Who's he got then at 14? I have the Browns.
This is where this list goes far, far away. Okay. This is where Connor is diving off a cliff.
I guess so.
At 14.
If I have to see if that's what I think it is.
The New England Patriots, he has at 2 and 4.
He's crazy. And we both have 15 the same. There was no way he thinks the Patriots are better than the Bears.
This is what he goes on to write. Are you going to put them any lower than 15th? Are you really that brave? I don't need to be part of Belichick's game of three-dimensional chess. This team is still good, is what he wrote. At 14, 2 and 4. They're not
good, bud.
That is awful.
No.
He must... I'm appalled. It's actually taking a full year now for us to get mad at this list. Like when they would have the panel of 13 to 19 writers, and we would get upset. He was the one that would mess these things up. Now we get a name of someone who throws someone in there. He at 14 is at 2 and 4 is ridiculous in their power rankings.
Jesus.
At 15, he has the Chicago Bears.
Well, I agree. The Bears 5 and 2. They're where they should be. He still doesn't have the 49ers listed. Where does he have the 49ers at?
I'm sorry, he had them at 13. I guess I just skated right past that.
Oh, never mind. Yeah, you did tell me that.
Okay,
I'm sorry.
Yeah. I think you asked for it. He has the Colts at 18. So at 15, the Chicago Bears. At 16, the Miami Dolphins. Then the Las Vegas Raiders at 3 and 3. And then 18, the Indianapolis Colts. Ugh, boy, oh boy.
What's our address here?
1229 Brady Street. You getting Jimmy John's delivered?
Well, we have an issue. It's okay.
Okay.
Sorry.
No, it's okay. It's quite all right. What I want to do now is when we come back from break, I have to look up that line. Don't let me forget when we go to break because we're going to break right now. And then I want to look at I know that we're between week 7, week 8, but I want to look at the playoff scenario right now as it stands, and you let me know, lock it in or not going to probably be there at the end of the thing. So we'll look at the possible playoff scenario when we come back, but we do need to take a break here at ESPN 1170.
Why don't you go ahead and read something for Paul Shelley if you can?
I will if I had that pulled up while I load up the Zeta, so why don't you do that? And I'll do the Zeta, and then the next time when we come back, I'll read for Paul.
All right. See that, Paul?
Yeah.
Paul, you need to get on this list because, hey, man, I know the voting might be done, but it's never too late to get a hold of Chopper at Locals Levis, my buddy. He has this great little guide that's running all over town, and it has a table of contents to help you find what you're looking for. Or you can go to the website, localslevis.com. You click on Quad Cities and browse the favorites. It's easy to use, and they even rank the most popular places for you. So if you're looking for a place to find doors, go to Locals Levis. Maybe you'll find our friend Paul Shelley on there, right, Jay?
That's right.
Locals Levis. He's your guide to the best.
You like that? You like that?
Give me a hell yeah. I said give me a hell yeah. Woo!
This is Randall, the QC hot dog guy. You're listening to Don't Hassle Us, We're Local.
The Circle Tap in Davenport is your place to catch all the action this football season. Enjoy $2 cans for every Iowa and Iowa State game and watch every NFL game with the NFL Sunday Ticket on one of their 16 flat-screen TVs. Get $2 domestic cans and $6 pulled pork sandwiches and fries every Sunday. Book your holiday party now and enjoy the heated patio for your next event. Enjoy great food, great drinks, and great friends all season long at the Circle Tap, West Locust Street, Davenport.
The Max Kellerman Show.
Damien in L.A.
I wanted to share my fondest Kobe memory, mine and my son's. It was season opener, Kobe's last year. You, Raj, and he who shall not be named. We got the privilege to meet you guys, me and my son, and I shared with my son the story of you and your daughter Esther, of how I always remember the day that you got to see Kobe Bryant play. Last week, me and my son are driving around. Now, he was about 8 years old at that time, roughly 4 years ago, and the joy I felt when we heard you on the radio again, and my son was like, "Oh, is that Max Kellerman?" Yes, I remember the day I saw Kobe Bryant play was the day I met Max Kellerman.
The Max Kellerman Show. Weekdays at 2 on the Quad City Sports Leader, ESPN 1170.
The biggest names in sports, coming to your mornings.
Bill Belichick, the 6-time Super Bowl champion, is here.
Morning, Coach Bill B.
Great to hear your voice. Congratulations on the show here, and I know you're going to provide a lot of great insight for the fans and even the people in the league. Nobody knows what's going on more than you do.
Keyshawn, J. Will, and Zubin. Mornings on the Quad City Sports Leader, ESPN 1170.
If Teresa Greenfield and the Democrats take over, the following will take effect. $4 trillion in job-killing taxes, government takeover of healthcare, packing the courts, dismantling police departments, surrender to the mob, surrender to China, and a march toward socialism. Teresa Greenfield and the left, they'll tear this country apart. Stop the liberal takeover. Vote Joni Ernst.
Paid for by Iowa Values Action, not authorized by any candidate or candidates committee. www.iowavaluesaction.com.
The biggest names in sports, coming to your mornings.
Bill Belichick, the 6-time Super Bowl champion, is here.
Morning, Coach Bill B.
Great to hear your voice. Congratulations on the show here, and I know you're going to provide a lot of great insight for the fans and even the people in the league. Nobody knows what's going on more than you do.
Keyshawn, J. Will, and Zubin. Mornings on the Quad City Sports Leader, ESPN 1170.
I'm with Axel, the Malamute from the Midwest Animal Assisted Therapy and Education Organization Community Outreach Center in North Park Mall. It looks like you're on the hunt, Axel. You're looking for someone special and their animal friend to volunteer at the Community Outreach Center? Looks like you found someone. Excuse me, Axel would like to know if you and your animal friend would like to help at the Community Outreach Center at North Park Mall. Relax, reset, and recover from the effects of COVID-19 and other feelings people are facing as our lives continue to change. He says don't worry if you don't have any experience. He'll be happy to assist you and your animal friend to prepare to help others. I'll be sure to tell them. Axel is very glad to have found you, so if you and your animal friend would like to help people at the Community Outreach Center at North Park Mall, text the word volunteer to 641-781-8025. Or go to COVID19ESA.org for details. Amazing, Axel. You sniffed him out right over the radio.
Your local sports show in the Quad Cities is on ESPN 1170. Don't hassle us. We're local. Noon till 2 on the Quad Cities Sports Leader, ESPN 1170.
Welcome back to the Hassle Castle, brought to you by Dunright Satellite and Dish. And you are listening to Don't Hassle So Local on AM 1170.
All right, so we got our NFL talk going on. We had your power rankings compared to the SI. Trying to take a look at some of the things coming up here. I should have pulled it up, but I didn't. I'm busy. I'm interested in this.
This lion?
Oh, the line is not the largest in history.
What was the largest?
The largest was 28 points in 2013. The Denver Broncos versus the Jacksonville Jaguars. It was 28 points was a line that was made. And I didn't even look to see if they covered, but I think Jacksonville actually did cover that game. Now, while I'm looking this up on what I want to look at the possible playoff scenarios that we're forced into right now, there's this interesting thing, and I reached out to these people today. It's a new app, and it's called Locker Room. And it's a social audio app where fans can talk sports and spontaneously join live conversations. And it launched today on iTunes, on the App Store. It is coming soon on your Android. Okay. The company behind Locker Room, Betty Labs, raised $9.3 million in seed funding, led by Google Ventures and other places. Athletes, including Kevin Durant, Baron Davis, participated in the round. So, how it works, it's a social audio app. And when you enter a room, the audio switches on and you can hear people talking, kind of like if people were coming into us, all right? So, we might have to find a way where our room opens up. You can see who is in there, and then the room creator who plays the host controls who speaks. So the listener raises their hand, and then they say, like, all right, now we're going to invite him to the conversation. There's a chat room where text-based discussion can happen, and you can start your own room. It's any topic right now. You could go on there, and you could say, I want to talk about Dallas Cowboys. You'd start it. You'd be the moderator or whatever else and talk to people. So I went into this app. I downloaded it because I'm intrigued. All right, I want to take a look at it. I want to see what's going on. What is this different? How is this changing things from podcast to whatever else? And went into a Big Ten room. And there was a nice guy on there. His name was Adam. And he happened to be talking to a content creator from this Locker Room app. And she was describing everything. So then I said to her, her name is Courtney. I said, Courtney, as I raised my hand, and then he had to let me in. And he's like, what do I do? She's like, let him in. So I was like, hey, I explained who I was. And she's like, this is great. And this guy's like, this is awesome. And he was a Rutgers fan. So I'm talking to, which rare, I'm talking to a fan of Big Ten football, but also a Rutgers fan. And then I explained who I was, what I want to do. And I said, is there any way I could have an interview with somebody to talk about this new app and explain how it goes? So she said, sure. And I had to change some things, put on there, my Twitter handle, and I'll be in touch with her or whatever else. But it's more than just a live podcast. It just makes it's like Twitter, podcast, all your arguments with your buddies combined. I'm interested. I mean, this isn't the only type of format. All right, there's been other ones as well. Where is it? Cuppa, TTYL, Water Cooler, Station Head. These are all type of social audio apps that you can have, and basically but it allows fans to choose their own commentators. You can basically, it's seriously our show, but on an app. It's where you just have conversations, and it's not like this is the topic. Is LeBron or Mike better? You're having. It's basically our show on an app. Pretty cool. So obviously, I reach out to our sports world friends, and I texted Emily. Check it out. She's like, what is it? I'm like, I don't think there's a Pac-12 yet. It's something you could reach out to and expand. So it's one of those things that I don't know what I've been harping on for like the last 10 days, thinking outside the box. You can continue to do this. You can be on Facebook Live. You can talk sports. You can run down the list of things that are on the ESPN side or whatever else. Or this was on the morning, or you can find new ways to expand your audience. And this is just one of them. It's kind of interesting, and it's one that I'm going to get more involved in. Reporters are going to be more and more doing this. Even Jeff Darlington from ESPN, he does a weekly show, and he'll be actually live today at 3:00 our time. And he said, I'm on camera a lot for ESPN, but sometimes I just want to casually talk sports when I'm at home, so it's nice to have a place where I can do that and not have to worry about looking at the camera or anything. I don't know. So I'm going to reach out more to these people and figure out what we can do for our show or whatnot. I mean, it's just like having a call-in show.
Yeah.
But if we can streamline it in and everything else and people just talking randomly, I mean.
It's another way to get us out there.
Yeah, I mean, wouldn't it be cool like if we just did like on Thursday at 1:00 our time Central, the locker room is open, just don't cuss.
Yeah,
but we have a kill button, so we could. It'd be kind of fun, right?
I think
so. It's something to look into. But that's all I want to say about that. But yeah,
okay, Forrest.
Well, I mean, I'm trying to like.
I know, I'm just teasing.
I just think the best thing for I mean, it'd work out for her, work out for Jessica, and the more I can get our friends involved, the better. All right. Who's the contenders? Who's the pretenders in the playoff scenario that we got coming up here?
Okay, give me where are we at right now? So, tell me where you want to start. AFC, NFC.
AFC.
All right, our bye team is the Pittsburgh Steelers.
That's right. They are the number one.
And then other than that, they're the only one that gets a bye, correct?
That's right.
So, then you would have below them, who would play them?
Who would? The 4 and 5.
4 and 5 are going there. And then
in your bottom half of your bracket would be the 3 and 6, and then they're 2 and 7.
3 and 6.
All right. And then what I want you to do, because tell me which ones are the locks to get in right now, where you feel the most confident. We'll fill it out together, and then I'll give you the outside looking in teams, okay? And tell me where you think
Kansas City is a lock.
Okay, Kansas City is a lock they're number 2 right now, but they're locked to make the playoffs.
I'm going to put them at number 2.
Okay. Steelers are at 1, Kansas City's at 2. The Tennessee Titans right now are at the 3.
I would say Tennessee and Baltimore are both a lock. Where are they set at right now?
The Bills are the 4. Now you win your division, you have to win your division to be in the top 4. Okay.
All right. So Buffalo. All right. I think Buffalo's a lock too. So put them at 4.
Okay.
Put Tennessee at 3. Where does that then put Baltimore?
5.
Baltimore at 5, and then who would then be the 6th? That would be probably the Browns or Colts.
Browns are right now, as of right now, the 6.
Okay.
And the Colts are the 7.
Okay.
Now I'm going to give you the outside looking in.
Wow, boy, why is this exactly matching up with my T-Roy Power Rankings? God, I wonder.
Yeah.
My God, maybe I should get a job doing this.
Outside looking in. At 8, the Miami Dolphins, 3 and 3.
They're not getting in.
At 9, the Las Vegas Raiders at 3 and 3. At 10, the Chargers at 2 and 4. Now the AFC is strong, but it just falls off a cliff.
Listen. I think Vegas. I think the Vegas Raiders. I was wrong about them. I think they're a lot better than what we thought at the beginning of the year. But I don't think with the way this division is shaking out right now, they're going to make the playoffs. Is that fair?
Yeah, I actually don't see much movement at all. I mean, the Dolphins are the ones, but you got to see what Tua is going to do. And he's a proven leader in the collegiate level, so maybe.
Yeah.
Maybe they sneak in over the Colts. But that's the crazy thing about the AFC South is they always have some weird team that makes it every year.
Yeah, I don't know. I like it. I like the way it looks right there.
I think it's pretty strong. Let's take a look over at the NFC. Okay?
Okay.
It's a much different story in the NFC.
Well, your number 1 right now would either be your Seahawks or your Packers.
It's the Packers. The Packers win the tiebreaker over Seattle based on best win percentage in conference games as of right now.
We got our 4 and our 5 there.
Your 2 is Seattle.
Okay, 3. I'm sorry, 3.
You're drawing out your bracket right now?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
3 and 6.
Give me the number and I'll tell you who was where.
And then he said 2.
Mm-hmm. Carry the Y.
2, carry the Y. All right. Your 2 is Seattle.
Uh-huh.
Your 3 then is probably Tampa Bay.
It is.
Okay.
They're leading their division. And then their 4 is another division leader.
That's the Eagles.
It is at 4.
Then from there, I would have to say from there, Saints are going to be probably your 5.
They're not.
They're your 6.
They're not.
You're your 7 then.
They're not.
Well,
your 5 is the Chicago Bears.
Oh, really?
Yeah, they're in it right now at 5 because they win the tiebreaker over Arizona based on best win percentage of conference games.
And then the Rams have to be in there.
At 7, pen them in at 7, not at 6.
And at 6,
Say it.
Rams?
No, the Rams are at 7. I just told you that.
49ers.
No.
Who am I missing?
The Air Raid Zona Cardinals at 6.
Oh, Arizona.
Now, outside looking in. Draw a line there. Outside looking in.
Yep. New Orleans.
New Orleans at 8, at 4-2. San Francisco at 9, at 4-3. The Detroit Lions at 3-3.
No.
Carolina Panthers at 3-4.
No.
So who's the contender? Who's the pretender in the NFC?
Well, I can tell you this. There's no way that all 4 teams from the West get in, right?
They're not scheduled to as of right now.
There's just no way.
It doesn't make sense.
Somebody has to beat somebody.
Mm-hmm.
I say New Orleans ends up getting in over Chicago.
Okay.
And when you start talking head-to-head, Chicago's lost to the Rams. I'll put New Orleans in for Chicago and the 49ers in for Arizona when it shakes out.
Okay. Here's Arizona, the rest of their schedule looking at after bye week. Okay. Arizona. Home against Miami. Home against Buffalo.
Maybe a loss.
At Seattle.
Loss.
At New England.
Win.
Home against the Rams.
It's going to be tough.
At the Giants.
Should be a win.
Home against Philadelphia.
Should be a win.
Home against San Francisco. Then at the Rams. There's going to be something wonky that happens in between there. Cliff Kingsbury is just not... Sorry. I mean, there's going to be a game.
Like 3 or 4 losses in there.
Yeah, there's going to be. Yeah. So Arizona, when you're looking at 3 or 4 losses, that puts them at 6. Still puts them at 10. And if there was 4 more losses, 10-6 is pretty good.
Okay.
Who was the other one you said? The Bears on the outside looking in? Let's take a look now. Let's see. All right.
Well, they have a head-to-head game with New Orleans coming up.
They have a head-to-head at home against New Orleans, and they're at Tennessee.
There's 2 losses right there, I think.
Then they host Minnesota Vikings.
They should win that.
They have a bye. Then they're at Green Bay.
I think they lose that.
Home against Detroit.
They should win that. But that...
Home against Houston.
Should win that.
At Minnesota.
Just give
at Jacksonville.
Win.
Then home against Green Bay.
Loss.
So the next one's out by the schedule that I have for them. All right, that I wrote out for the Bears.
Yeah.
I have win. I have them winning against New Orleans, losing at Tennessee, winning against Minnesota, winning at Green Bay. So I'm gonna be off a little bit. They could end up 9-7. And 10-6 though. I mean they could win all of them, but it's the NFC is clustered very much differently than the AFC. And the Eagles at the 4. I mean I'd kill to be the 5.
Oh yeah,
kill to be the 5 and go to Philly.
Yeah,
go run the stairs.
But then you get
get a cheesesteak. Go run the stairs.
You get the number 1 seed for that.
Hang out with boys to men. I just make a vacation out of it, yeah. But yeah, no, you got to play the number 1.
Here's the deal: the of all these, I see that shaking up the most.
Yeah, the NFC is going to shake up the most, of course,
hands down.
Yeah, the AFC looks like the one that's kind of like legit though. Like I don't see a lot of movement there compared to the NFC, but like I said, I've been surprised before. I would love. I'd love to see the Dolphins in that story. I mean, I feel bad for Fitzpatrick. He didn't see it coming, but you kind of had to know that they were going to eventually move to Tua. I think even when we did our preview show, we're like, look at the bye week. That's when Miami's going to move to Tua. And it kind of had to happen a little bit earlier because they moved their bye week around because of the COVID. But you'd love to see Miami. I'd like to see 2 teams from the AFC East make the playoffs, and one of them's not New England Patriots.
Yeah.
It'd be good for Miami. It's good for their fans. And I don't know if Phillip Rivers is really the guy in Indianapolis. But I know Brad pointed out yesterday, Colts have a great defense, and that could be it as well.
Yeah, I mean, and if there's a first team out, I just feel like between, I think New Orleans, this head-to-head with Chicago is going to be huge.
Yes. Absolutely. So, like I said,
Bears coming off a short week. A lot of weapons there, but they don't like playing in the cold. It's going to be cold. But there's not fans. I mean, Vegas had them favored, right? By what? They had them disrespectfully favored. No, only by 3.
Yeah. All right. Well, let's take a quick break.
Okay.
Let's bring Craig in a second once we go to, and we'll be back in just a few minutes. But we have a guest on, Craig Gass. He's a comedian. He's going to be at the Rhythm City Casino this Thursday. He's a sports fan. He's been all over the place, and we're just going to get his story. And, man, we're honestly just going to let this guy take over because he's going to bring so much energy to the place, and I'm just excited to just – not that we're not entertaining to each other, not that we don't make each other laugh.
I see where it is now.
No, it's not true. I mean,
don't take the guy to lunch one time. Replace you with a professional comedian the very next minute.
That's exactly it. All right, we'll be right back. ESPN 1170, Don't Hassle us. We're local.
Front Street Brewery is the oldest brew pub in Iowa, folks. Remember, it's been nestled right along in the mighty Mississippi in downtown Davenport since 1992, serving us great beers like the Davenport Gold, the Wise Guy, and the Raging River ever since. Remember, you can check out all their food and drink specials at their Facebook page or go to www.frontstreetbrew.com. The restaurant is located at 208 East River Drive, and the tap room is in the Freight House Complex. So please stop on down today and try some food and some booze from our friends at Front Street Brewery.
Like that. Give me a hell yeah. I said give me a hell yeah.
Hey, this is Dorf with Dancing with the QC Stars. You're listening to Don't Hassle Us, We're Local.
Meet the Jacobsons.
Shh, keep it down.
Oh, they're celebrating Halloween with a scary movie marathon.
No, don't go in the basement.
I can't watch. And pizza delivery from Casey's.
It's just a pizza.
No matter how you're celebrating this year, Casey's is here for treats with deals on our delicious handmade pizza and all the drinks and snacks you need. All Halloween weekend, buy any large pizza, get a second for just $5 with code SPOOKY. Casey's, here for Halloween, here for good.
I've seen the worst things that can possibly happen. This isn't even close to that.
He's back on your radio. Greeny.
I have always felt basketball is a game where the team that has the best player wins. The Lakers would have the 2 best players.
Greeny, covering the top stories with the biggest names, plus breaking news.
Only in football do we wonder this aloud, and I just thought it was worth spelling out all of the ways in which Brady changed everything.
Greeny, weekdays at 11 on the Quad Cities sports leader, ESPN 1170.
Premier Metal Art is now licensed and trademarked with the University of Iowa to produce and sell Hawkeye's metal art. Made here in the Quad Cities. Order your customized fire pit in 3 different sizes, perfect for tailgating. Premier Metal Art also has Hawkeye's multi-layer pieces, perfect for your home and man cave. It's not too early to order for Christmas, so get your custom Hawkeye's order in now. Call 563-345-9500. Premier Metal Art, Eldridge, Iowa, on Facebook or online at qcpremier.com. Finish your holiday shopping today.
This is Greeny.
LeBron James and Anthony Davis are going to be the best 1-2 punch in basketball again next year, regardless of what the Clippers do, regardless of what they have in Brooklyn, regardless of what they have in Houston, regardless of what they have in Dallas, regardless of anything else that happens.
Greeny, weekdays at 11 on the Quad Cities sports leader, ESPN 1170.
Janae and Golick Jr.
The NCAA is still in its old bag of tricks, and we've heard the president, Mark Emmert, say that a bubble is possible for some of the tournaments coming up, looking down the line to March Madness, and it's what makes more farcical the idea that the NCAA or any of the powers in the world of college athletics can look and tell us they're doing as much as they can for what we're about to see in college football. I was on the call for the first college football game this season as Central Arkansas and Austin Peay played, and while everyone involved did what they could, we know ultimately the powers in college sports are preventing preventing the bubbling of athletes because they know what admitting that comes with. And so when they try and sell me that they're doing everything they can, I unfortunately can't believe it because they're already telling us and telling on themselves as they look forward towards the spring that the bubble might not only happen, but it is going to come with plenty of apparel you can buy, all in support of amateurism.
Shanae and Golick Jr., 306 on the Quad City Sports Leader, ESPN 1170.
Football is back at the Double Crown. No fans allowed in the stands, so get the best seats possible at the Double Crown Bar and Grill. During all big college football games, enjoy $5 pitchers of domestics and $2 wells. Stop in for lunch during the week. Tuesday is all-you-can-eat wings and Friday nights all-you-can-eat fish, both for just $11. Plus happy hour daily from 2 till 6. For daily specials, find them on Facebook. Double your fun every day at the Double Crown Bar and Grill, 217 Brady Street, downtown Davenport.
I'm Kyle Montgomery with NFL Network Now on the Westwood One Radio Network. Browns wide receiver Odell Beckham Jr. suffered a torn ACL on Sunday against the Bengals and will be out for the rest of the season, according to NFL Network insider Ian Rappaport. Ian also says Seahawks running back Chris Carson is dealing with a mild foot sprain and is expected to be week to week. Meanwhile, Cardinals running back Kenyon Drake left Sunday's game against Seattle with a high ankle sprain and is expected to miss a few weeks. Monday Night Football in Los Angeles, the Rams take care of the Bears 24-10. Jared Goff finishing with 219 yards and 2 touchdowns. Meantime, Bears quarterback Nick Foles struggled against the Rams defense, throwing for 261 yards, but with 2 picks. The Seahawks, Cardinals, and Rams each have 5 wins in the NFC West. The Rams head to Miami this week to face Tua Tagovailoa, making his first NFL start. This has been NFL Network Now on the Westwood One Radio Network.
Texting enrolls you into recurring automated text messages. Message and data rates may apply. This is a special message for all American men over the age of 40.
I'm Frank Thomas, the Big Hurt. After I left baseball, I just couldn't stay in shape like I used to. I know plenty of guys my age that have just let it all go. Turns out, once you hit 40, your body has less free testosterone. So I got back into the game with Nugenics. If you want to get back in the game and get your edge back, you need Nugenics. You can get a complimentary bottle. All you have to do is send them a text.
Text BREAK to 321321 right now for your complimentary bottle of Nugenics Total T.
With Nugenics, I've increased my lean muscle and feel stronger with more energy and endurance. And guys, take it from me. She'll like it too.
Text BREAK to 321321 right now for your complimentary bottle of Nugenics Total T, the #1 selling free testosterone booster at GNC. But Nugenics samples are not available in stores, so text BREAK to 321321 right now. Text BREAK to 321321.
Score a touchdown on your next new or used purchase at Sexton Ford. With a huge selection of new Ford cars and trucks, you'll feel like you've entered the big game each and every time. You'll be treated like a pro player from sales to service, auto body to parts. Sexton also has a strong bench of mildly used vehicles too. Why wait? The game's on at Sexton Ford in Moline.
Oh yeah, Sexton Ford is the talk of the town.
From the Sheedy Family Chiropractic Studios, this is the Quad City Sports Leader, ESPN 1170 AM, KBOB Davenport.
All right, everybody, welcome back to Don't Hassle So Local on AM 1170. And Jaybird, wow, we have a guest, so I need you to...
We have a guest, and it's going to be a lot of fun. And just in the, 4 minutes that we just went on commercial break, we covered so much. This is comedian Craig Gass. He's been on, let me go through the list real quick. You were on the King of Queens, right?
Yes.
Sex in the City.
Yes, I did something horrible on Sex in the City.
Okay, You've been on the Howard Stern Show. You do
many years.
Yes, you did. You've done voices for American Dad,
Family Guy,
all that stuff.
Cleveland Show. And so, Craig, you're going to be at the Rhythm City Casino on Thursday. You have 2 shows, right? Yeah, Thursday I'm doing 6:30 and 8:30 at Rhythm City, and we're doing a socially distanced show. And so the tickets are limited. It's going to sell out, not because I'm famous, but because the place is going to hold about 10 people. So, and it's going to be it's just going to be awesome. It's been like 15 years since I came to the Quad Cities, and I'm really excited about being back. But yes, I am a comedian who is mostly known for being able to do voices. I've always been able to do any voice that I hear because of how I grew up. And I don't know if you guys know.
I do.
I did do a background into this. Something your parents were deaf or
my whole family's deaf. My mom, my dad, and my sister are all completely deaf. Which I always find that people get tense when I say that. Like they go, "Oh, I don't want to, say something offensive," which is funny to me because the most offensive deaf jokes I've ever heard in my life were from deaf people, especially my own deaf people. Like my sister, I threw a surprise birthday party for my sister last year. And you could argue that everything to deaf people is a surprise. But I threw a surprise birthday party for my sister. And at dinner, my sister is sitting across the table from me, and she's signing to me in sign language. And she goes, "Do you want to hear a good joke?" And I said, "Sure." And then she said, "Me too." And I was like, "Oh my God, what the hell?" Like, yeah. So I've heard it's amazing. It is a solid joke. I've told her that I do that on stage, and I tell her joke, and she just kind of waves it off like, that old hack joke. Like, I guess deaf people, it's like one of the oldest jokes in the deaf community. Anyways, so growing up in a deaf family, I couldn't learn how to talk from my family. I learned how to talk by copying all the voices I heard on TV. And I never got an accent from the Bronx, which is where I'm from.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I heard you telling this. I watched this on something. Yeah.
And everybody in the Bronx has a really thick, like everybody in the Bronx sounds like Tracy Morgan. Everybody in the Bronx talk like this, whether you black or white, male or female. That's crazy. Hey! This is the voice of your next door neighbor, and I'm a Vietnamese girl. That's crazy. Like, everybody sounded like that. So the weirder the voice, the easier it is for me to do it. Like, Christopher Walken has a real stop and go kind of voice. Well, he'll talk every once in a while. He'll stop, and then he'll keep going. Or Adam Sandler, who's really silly, and he's been doing movies for over 30 years, but he still talks like this, shibby-doo, hee-hoo. So it's the weirder the voice, the easier it is for me to do it, and that led to me getting into radio, and then eventually Family Guy, and but I'm also a big sports fan, and I go to the Super Bowl every year. And every time I go to the Super Bowl, I'm always broadcasting from the Super Bowl Media Center, where all my friends in sports radio are broadcasting from markets all over the country, and they'll ask me to join them as a celebrity to try to make it sound impressive, because Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday at the Super Bowl, no celebrities are there yet. And then Thursday and Friday is just insanity. You're just trying to snatch people out of the air that are walking through, and so when it's dead, they want it to sound impressive back to where they're broadcasting to, and they'll say, "Can you join us as somebody famous?" And the only remotely sports guy I can do an impression of is Tom Arnold, who used to host the Best Damn Sports Show, period. But he's also a big, he's a mess.
Well, he's an Iowa Hawkeye. He's from Ottumwa.
Yeah,
he's from here.
And he's one of the nice dude. The first time I met Tom Arnold, it was over the phone. I was living in Seattle. I started my comedy career in Seattle, and a friend of mine said, he was a comedian, he said, "Hey man, you know that Planet Hollywood opening that's happening in town? All the stars from the Planet Hollywood opening are staying at my hotel that I work at." He was he had some kind of he worked at a bar in a hotel. And I said, what celebrities? And he goes, "Oh man, Sylvester Stallone, Arnold Schwarzenegger, Tom Arnold." And I go, "Tom Arnold?" I was like, I'm a comedian, so I love Tom Arnold, and I love him. And he goes, "Yeah, Tom Arnold's in my hotel." And I go, "No way." And when I got home that night, I called the hotel. I looked up the information from the hotel, and they picked up the phone, and I said, "Hi, Tom Arnold, please." And they go, "One moment." And they transfer me, and I was like, and Tom Arnold picks up the phone, and I hear, and I never recorded this. I did this just for myself. He picked up the phone, and he goes, "Hello." And I said, hey, Tom, it's Sam Kinison, who had been dead
for 10 years at that point. And Tom goes, "Hey, what's up, Sam? How are you?" And I go, listen, I go, Chom, I need you to help me out, buddy. I need you to help me out because I need you to help me with an issue I'm having here in the afterlife. And he goes, "Yeah, tell me what to do, buddy. Whatever you need, I'll help you out." And I go, I need you to get me some cocaine in the afterlife, and here's how you're going to do it. First of all, you need to front me the cash because I don't have any money down here. And then secondly, I'm going to need you to just take the cocaine. I need you to fly to Los Angeles, and I want you to put the cocaine in the pocket of Jerry Lewis, and I'll have it when he gets here in 3 weeks. Oh! And then I finally just stopped and said, "Hey, Tom, my name's Craig Gass. I'm a stand-up comedian." He goes, "Oh man, that was good. That you know what? You know how good it is? I need to call my sponsor right now. That's how good that is. That's a really good impression." I was like, "Oh wow!" And he said, "Hey, do you have like a tape I could watch of you or something?" And I dropped off a tape at the hotel. He called me a few days later, gave me his phone number, said if you ever need any advice about anything, and was always available for me, which is why I feel bad that it bothers him that I do a joke at the Super Bowl where I'll come on and they'll say, "We're live from the Super Bowl and we're being joined by Tom Arnold. Tom, how are you enjoying the Super Bowl so far?" And I'll always say, "Oh man, it's crazy. I've been here for a couple days, and all the celebrities are coming in. And I was actually at a Cocaine Anonymous meeting last night with Brett Favre. I probably shouldn't say that out loud, but Brett's got a bad coke problem. His sponsor is Bob Costas. And again, I shouldn't say that out loud, but he's addicted to upskirt porn. And I'll just start naming random people in the sports world and attaching them to addictions. And I saw this guy at a Gamblers Anonymous meeting and this guy, and it's silly. It's over the top. And every year, Tom Arnold, the real Tom Arnold, fights with people on Twitter who go, "Dude, it's supposed to be anonymous. What's wrong with you?" And he'll go, "Hey, did you notice that Sam Kinison was on the air? That guy's been dead for 10 years, you idiot. Shut up. You don't know what you're that's a comedian." And he's always trying to set the record straight when it's so over the top and it's so, but a couple people miss it and they don't understand, like, okay, this is
We have an interesting story with Tom Arnold.
Do you really? I was going to say, this whole time that I'm talking about Tom, people are usually laughing all the way through it. I feel that there's a story.
Well,
he became friends with Pat Miletich through, they kind of
they would clash on political views.
Yeah, they banter back and forth on Twitter.
Pat Miletich is the UFC Hall of Famer. He's from this area.
Okay,
and he's also very big. I guess you would say right side, and Tom's far left.
Yeah.
So they just don't see eye to eye. They're both Iowans.
Yeah.
So then people get involved, and then they just started going back and forth through Twitter, and then eventually
they meet.
They become friends.
Okay.
But we had Pat
on
at Rhythm City Casino, where you're going to be at on Thursday.
Okay.
So Pat was on the show with us. We were doing a live remote there, and it just so happened that he was like, cut a promo on Tom Arnold because he was announcing something, but we were like, wouldn't it be great to have Tom Arnold?
Well, he told me that I should cut a promo to challenge Tom to a fight in the UFC ring for charity.
Mm-hmm.
Really?
So I cut a promo calling Tom Arnold out. And I can't remember everything I said, but it was, it was not for the airwaves. It was more for the.
But
then Pat put it on his.
Because
his social
people wanted
media.
Tom and Pat to like box, and then it just wasn't happening. And now they're buddies, like you said. He likes him and everything else. But it's weird, like two people from Iowa don't see eye to eye. They at each other on Twitter. They have Twitter beef, and they're like, and just like you said, he's like, no, he's a good dude. Like,
Tom is actually an incredible guy. Tom is anytime somebody's struggling with addictions that Tom knows about, he'll like, where's the person at? I'll come help them. Like he's a guy who's always available to help people out, and he's an incredible human being and a great comic. I saw him at the roast of Cheech and Chong.
Oh man!
And I remember seeing him before the night. I was kind of bummed out because at that point I already done a couple Super Bowls where I did like a parody at the Super Bowls, and so when I see Tom, he goes, I go, "Tom, Craig Gass," and he went, "Oh hey, yeah, you're great. Yeah, you're great." That's all he said. I was like, "Oh no," he's like bummed out. Like as a comic, I hope that he's going to understand it as a comic that I'm doing something silly, but he didn't know there was a last minute addition to the roast. They had Wilmer Valderrama on the roast, which knocked me out. I was trying to get in on the roast because I've worked with Tommy Chong a lot over the years, and they added Wilmer Valderrama because he was on That 70s Show with Tommy Chong. So Tom Arnold was asking, he said, I don't even know who is Wilmer Valderrama, and I said, Wilmer Valderrama he's a handsome guy. He's on That 70s Show. You know what he's famous for? He's famous for apparently hooking up with all these like famous women. He's famous for allegedly hooked up with Christina Aguilera and Britney Spears and Lindsay Lohan. He dated Lindsay Lohan for a while, and so with that information, Tom Arnold walks up on stage and he goes, "Hey, Wilmer Valderrama is here. Wilmer, I don't know who you are, but I understand that you used to hook up with Lindsay Lohan. Is that true? Wow, I guess it is possible to bang somebody's brains out." And I was like, whoa, like, it was amazing. It was just this amazing joke. And it was literally like he just came up with it like on the spot. Yeah. But I am a huge sports fan. I book all my shows around the United States, around sporting events and concerts.
So obviously those of you that are watching on Facebook Live can tell that huge Seahawks fan. Mm-hmm. And Mariners fan. So is it all Seattle for you, or so when the Supersonics left, did you go with the Thunder or did you give up?
I didn't like the Sonics.
Okay.
Because I'm from New York, and I grew up 10 miles from Yankee Stadium, and so the Yankees are my birthright, and Yankee fans are terrible people. They're just I saw stuff.
I've been saying this for years.
I saw stuff in the stands that was horrifying. I have to say it's changed. You know, they've outpriced the type of people that used to come in and cause a lot of problems, but there's still issues, real issues if you walk into Yankee Stadium wearing a hat for another team. That you may be unsafe for doing that, which I think is above and beyond what we should be able to do as human beings. And I made a grown-up decision at 8 years old. I remember looking at my mom. I was at Yankee Stadium at 8 years old. I looked at my mom, and I remember signing to her. I said, "This stadium is loaded with a-holes." And I was 8, and I made a grown-up decision at 8 years old that if my team winning means that all these drunk a-holes are going to be happy, then I'm out. I'm going to be an independent. I'm just going to root for our players. And by the way,
so at 8, you and I are watching the same damn World Series.
Yes.
I mean, because I was a Dodger fan as a kid because I grew up in Iowa. So the first World Series I remember.
I've heard the same thing about Dodger Stadium that he just described about Yankee Stadium.
But that is true.
But it was Dodgers Yankees. My mom's a Yankee fan.
Yeah.
Because grew up in Iowa, you don't have a team, so she loved the 60s Yankees.
Yeah.
But so my dad and I decided, well, we're just going to root against Mom.
And
then, of course, Reggie Jackson,
a musician friend of mine, Jerry Cantrell, he's the guitar player for Alice in Chains. I did a tour with Alice in Chains as their opening act.
Dude, how fun is that, man?
Oh, man, dude, there's so many stories I have for you. Dude, I have hours and hours.
So is that the Seattle connection then?
No, I started my career in Seattle, and then I became friends with all these musicians up there. I did a tour with Alice in Chains. My comedy special features a couple guys from Alice in Chains and Pearl Jam.
Okay.
My friend Mike is the guitar player for Pearl Jam. He shows up on my comedy special to show me how much better.
My friend Mike.
Yeah.
No big deal.
Dude, it's but there is there was. When I moved to Seattle, it was 1993. The Sonics were really great. And I saw the same kind of arrogance amongst Sonics fans that I used to see amongst Yankee fans when I was a kid. And I was like, I'm out. I'm not. But the Mariners,
she had Sean Payton, Kemp.
Yeah, Sean Kemp and Gary Payton and there was,
why did I say Sean Payton?
And there was an arrogance in the local media about, we got the greatest team. And the Seahawks and the Mariners sucked. I mean, the Seahawks, they were just giving away tickets outside the Kingdom.
Oh, God, yeah, back then.
And I wasn't even a football fan. When I saw how easy it was to get into a game, I went to every single home game for the 5 years that I lived in Seattle, and I never paid more than $5 a ticket. Usually got in for free because people were just trying to get rid of their tickets, and they would just, the most common thing was just to say, just buy me a King beer.
Then you got to be like, right about that time is when they brought in Griffey Jr.
Yeah.
So you got to see the beginning of the kid.
Oh yeah. So
Buhner was Jay Buhner was an outfielder.
1990
then.
was or 89,
the big unit.
Angry Randy Johnson.
Oh
yeah.
God.
Yeah, Randy.
Does that guy smile for anything? I'll bet he has that mug on his face when he's having sex.
You know, he is. I got such a personal kick out of hearing a friend of mine, who was a local sports guy for the NBC affiliate in Seattle, say, he goes, I think you'll appreciate this. When Randy's in a really bad mood, I'll just mention your name and say, "Hey, I saw Craig Gass," and he'll smile and I'll go, "How is he?" And that'll get me to ask him some questions. And I was like, that's
awesome.
Really neat.
You're the only guy that can make Randy Johnson smile.
And that's literally what a couple friends of mine said. You're the only guy. And the same thing happened.
So when he blew up the bird, he had to call you right away for help.
Yeah, dude. And here's the thing. Here's my question to you. I lose it when I see sports guys because they're outside my world. Like, I hang out with comedians and rock stars and movie people all the time, and it's like, all right, they always come to the Comedy Store, or they always like to come to comedy shows, and I get used to being around really famous people in those fields. But famous athletes are outside of my world, and I just lose my cool because I'm so emotionally invested in my teams. Do you guys, because you talk to everybody now in sports, but do you lose it when you see somebody outside of your world? Does that make you get a little nervous?
You were probably the most famous outside of sports we've had in, right?
In the studio wise, like, I would lose it. He would lose it, and he's probably got a lot more. Troy T. Ray's got a lot more questions for you about music. He'd lose it more from musicians than I would.
Yeah,
because but I was more. My car ride with Ric Flair was insane. Like, it was
Ric Flair.
It was the coolest thing.
Dude.
I picked him up from the airport. He was doing a show here, and I got to ride with him. And he is 100% the person that he is on camera. From jump, he was, and then he also, I was like, and then I got nervous afterwards. I'm like, hey, I have to go do a radio show. And I'm talking to his wife, fiance, or whatever, and she's like, hey, Rick, come here. You got to call into a show. He just gave us a ride. So he's like, all right. And I go, hey, just 10 minutes, champ. And he went 30 minutes, and it was great.
Yeah,
and
it was solid. It was a solid 30
so,
minutes. And he was on cloud 10.
Yeah, and I still lose it over, like, more athletes. Like, to have Dan Gable in here, who's the greatest, like, amateur wrestler of all time, was just something else. And to have him go and talk whatever was good. And as far as Iowa goes, to have Chuck Long. And now that I'm texting with former NBA player and former Iowa great A.C. Earl, strangely, which, by the way, he's that tall and I'm 5'7".
Yeah.
We're the weirdest combination of people ever. So, but
for me, when we had Chuck Long came in, so I don't know if you remember in the mid '80s, Iowa was number one. Chuck Long was the quarterback, and he got drafted by the Lions.
Mm-hmm.
But I had to go out in the hallway to bring him down at the time, and I shook his hand, Chuck. Troy, nice to meet you. And I just turned to him. I go, by the way, eighth grade me is really excited right now.
Yes,
absolutely.
Well, dude,
but yeah.
Listen. Clearly, I'm wearing a jersey for someone that for a team that it's not your team, but
he's on my fantasy team. That's Carson, right?
This is Jamal Adams.
Oh, okay.
Jamal Adams. I'm wearing. So, but the way my team plays on Sunday genuinely affects my mood for the next 7 days. That's how emotional I get about football, and I'm very emotionally connected to it.
I'm with you, dude.
And for years they sucked so bad. Like, we finally got a decent quarterback in the 90s. We got Warren Moon, but we didn't get Warren Moon in his 20s. We got him in his 50s. But he was throwing the ball, and I was like, I've never seen a guy throw the ball like that for the Seahawks from when I became a fan. Then Matt Hasselbeck came along.
You didn't like David Craig?
I wasn't around when David Craig was there.
Yeah, he was in the 80s.
Yeah, I started in '93 when the password to my email for years was Rick Myers frickin' killing me. That was the password to my email.
I forgot.
That's a great one.
And by the way, it wasn't frickin'. But anyway, so Matt Hasselbeck comes along, and Matt Hasselbeck starts winning games, and we actually make it to the Super Bowl. And I love this guy so much. And one night I am in a hallway when someone goes, dude, is that your quarterback? And I go, what? And he goes, is that your quarterback? And I turn around. My quarterback is standing in the same hallway with me. And this is my entire exchange. I go, Matt! That's my half of the exchange. Matt turns around and he goes, what's up? And I went, what's up? My voice got that high, and then I realized, oh my God, I have a camera phone. Sir, hey, sir, will you just take a picture? I go, Matt, can we, real quick? Come on, just real quick. Let's just go. And he walked over, and if you look, there's a picture of it on my Facebook page. I look like I'm 12 years old. I'm shaking in the picture. Plus, Matt Hasselbeck is a foot taller than me, so I'm grabbing going, and then we take the picture. Matt Hasselbeck goes, okay. And then he walks away from me. And I'm immediately depressed that he's walking away. Like, there's something about meeting somebody who you really admire, where you want to stretch out a moment that is clearly over. Like, I said, hey, can I get a picture of you? He said, fine. Went to take a picture of me. Now he wants to move on with his life. But I want more out of this. So as Matt's walking away, I went, Matt! And Matt turned around, and I put my hand out, and I was like, come on. Yeah, come on. Like, I just had this mistake, because I thought, if we shake hands, this now extends this moment.
The
right?
Wonder Twin powers are going to activate, right?
Well, if we shake hands, then we'll start talking, right? And then if we start talking, maybe you'll teach me how to throw a spiral. I don't know. But shaking hands is the beginning of a friendship. So Matt Hasselbeck reluctantly turns around and starts walking in towards me, and I remember going, oh my God, here we go. And then these are the only words that came out of my mouth. I went, you make me so happy. And he goes, what? And I just turned around and walked away. You make me so happy. I didn't say that to a member of One Direction. I said that to my favorite quarterback at the time. And here's the sad thing. I meant that because the way my football team plays on Sunday genuinely affects my mood for the next 7 days. And for the next 10 years, I am in a different city every week around the world. And every city that I go in, I do press. And there's always a sports station that's involved, and the sports station will always screen me and say, we love King of Queens, and and we love Family Guy. We love all the TV shows you're on, but we're a sports station. Do you have any sports stories? And I always have to go, I met my favorite quarterback, and I think I started my period. And they go, oh, okay. Do you want to come in and tell that story? And I go, yeah, sure. And I've been repeating this Matt Hasselbeck story in a different market every week for 10 years.
Well, there you go.
5 years ago, I'm broadcasting from the Super Bowl Media Center in New Orleans when Matt Hasselbeck starts walking through the Super Bowl Media Center, and I was in the middle of a TV interview, and I went, I know that. And I gasped. And my friend, who's also a fan of the Seahawks, who's standing next to me, goes, dude, calm down. I go, it's all right. I just want to say hi. And I walked over. But I'm going to give you the censored version of this story. Sure. Okay?
Well,
by the way, if you want to hear the uncensored version, go to Rhythm City Casino on Thursday.
There you go.
Rhythm City Casino on Thursday. We're doing 2 shows at 6:30 and 8:30. RhythmCityCasino.com for the tickets. And Matt Hasselbeck's walking around, and I go, Matt! Hey, buddy, I don't want to bother you at all. I just want to say hello. My name's Craig. I'm a big fan. And Matt Hasselbeck stopped and went, Craig Gass. And I went, shut the hell up. Are you serious? He goes, you're the guy. You're the guy that has the story about me, right? You're the comedian that... Wait, hold on. Brett, come here. I look over. Brett Favre starts walking towards me in what feels like slow motion.
Absolutely.
He's coming towards me when Matt Hasselbeck goes, Brett, this is Craig Gass. This is one of the funniest comedians on the planet. Now Brett is floating through the air, and I hear Brett Favre say, what's up, dude? I love stand-up comedy. And I went, I do too. And I started crying. To Brett Favre and Matt Hasselbeck. At one point, Matt Hasselbeck goes, this guy does impressions. He goes, watch this. Craig, do some impressions for Brett. Do some impressions. And every impression I did was of somebody crying. Every impression was, Can I get a picture with you guys? And they go, yeah, sure. And I hit him my camera phone to my buddy, and I walked over and I got between them, and I was like. The next day, I wake up. I'm getting emotional now. Think about it. I wake up in my hotel room in New Orleans, and I go to my Twitter page. Matt Hasselbeck is following me on Twitter. I was like, oh my God. I freaked out. I called my friend Jason in the next room. I go, Jason, get over here. He walks in, and I go, look at this. And I'm showing him my laptop. He goes, what? What am I looking at? Matt Hasselbeck. So what? Is Matt Hasselbeck following you? And I said, Matt Hasselbeck is following me on Twitter. And he goes, dude, you should tweet him. And I was like, I should. And that is when this whole story takes a huge dump because and I don't know if you can relate to this, but I got so emotional looking at the picture on my phone, and I made the mistake of typing a caption while I was in an emotional state of mind. Not a reasonable one, but an emotional one. And by the way, you can this is not a lie. You can see it's on my Facebook page. You can see what I'm about to tell you.
All right.
And again, I'm going to tell you the censored version of this. It's go to facebook.com/I love gas. I love gas with 2 S's. Go to my profile pictures and you'll see it. There's a picture of me with Brett Favre smiling. Matt Hasselbeck smiling. Me in the middle. And this is the caption I wrote. I'm sorry. But when one of your heroes introduces you to Brett Favre with the words, this is one of the funniest comedians on the planet. Yeah. You know what time it is. Hashtag, it's boner time. And within an hour, Matt Hasselbeck unfollowed me. And I was like, what? Is that too much? Like,
No, it wasn't too much.
The boner.
Oh, yeah.
The boners will get you in trouble.
The boners will definitely get you in trouble. So so the moral of the story...
Which I think is completely wrong. I mean, I would take that as a joke. If I was Matt Hasselbeck, I would have laughed my ass off.
It is when the conversation we had before the story, and you're talking about meeting people, and now what T-Roy is saying, Chuck Long was...
6 to midnight.
Yeah, when Chuck Long was a quarterback for Iowa, and he was runner-up to Bo Jackson for the Heisman Trophy and went on to be an NFL quarterback. And But when they said he was here... I said, T-Roy, you're going to have to walk down the stairs to go because I'm just going to have to hide underneath this desk thing right now. So, we didn't tell him that story. I mean, he probably wouldn't follow me. But
yeah, and again, that's the censored version of the story. If you want to hear the uncensored, go to Rhythm City Casino on Thursday, and I'll tell you the uncensored version. But it's I'm okay with it when I go to the Super Bowl every year and I interview the players on both teams every year. It's just when I have been rooting for you specifically and I feel emotionally invested in you that I feel like there's some kind of connection when you do well for me.
I mean, that was the thing, too. I mean, I know reading more about you and, something that recently happened, but, the passing of Eddie Van Halen.
Oh, well, that's, yeah.
And one, just as when I grew up, huge Van Halen fan.
Yeah.
I mean, and so I made it my instant priority. I really just started getting back into vinyl.
Yeah.
But as soon as they said Eddie had passed, I basically now, within the last, couple weeks, I have every vinyl there is from 1 through 5150.
Yeah. Well, I have a weird connection to him.
Can we tell the story when we come back from break?
Yes.
Oh, we got to do breaks?
Just a short one.
Yeah.
I don't want to take too much time.
I will just say,
I don't want to be away too long.
I lived with Eddie Van Halen. I lived at his house, in his recording studio, and the story is insane. And we'll talk about it.
Just a few minutes.
Rhythm City Casino is where the show is at. It's 2 shows, 6:30 and 8:30, and I'm usually hilarious. I don't know where I'm going with this. I'm just crying here.
No, you're great.
I'm getting emotional. But the shows are usually funny, and it's limited capacity for social distancing. So come join me on Thursday night, Rhythm City Casino, and when we come back, I'll tell you about these crazy, crazy moments I experienced living at Eddie Van Halen's house.
Love it. We'll be right back. ESPN 1170. Don't hassle us. We're local.
You like that? You like that? Give me a hell yeah. I said, give me a hell yeah!
This is Ella Schmidt, the 106-pounder for Bettendorf, and you are listening to Don't Hassle Us, We're Local.
Gary Moore is delivering real solutions for Iowa families. Thanks to Gary Moore's leadership, Iowa has a balanced budget, which is why we were better prepared than any other state to deal with the economic impacts of the COVID crisis. Gary Moore led the effort to help working Iowa families find safe, reliable childcare so parents can continue to work. Gary Moore is focused on getting Iowans back to work and school safely. Keep Iowa moving in the right direction. Vote Gary Moore for state representative.
Paid for by Gary Moore for State House.
At Crawford Company, we specialize in plumbing, heating, and air conditioning. Sports, on the other hand...
Hey, Crawford guy, go long!
No, I can't!
Here comes the pitch to Crawford guy. Strike three.
Come on, Crawford guy, take the shot!
Sports may not be our specialty, but home comfort is. Crawford Company, plumbing and drain cleaning, heating and air conditioning.
Janae and Golick Jr.
Janae, through all of, Russell Wilson, we know he's a lot, from Mr. Unlimited to the weird video announcing his contract staying in Seattle, the bubble water, his bad dance moves behind Sierra's music videos. Through all of it, he's still winning. I would trust him and Tyler Lockett with my PIN number, with any amount of money that I needed in my life. These guys are the surest bet in pro sports right now, and it's nice. We always like to say give people flowers while they can still smell them. Russell Wilson has been this quarterback. This is not a new version of him as far as I'm concerned, but it's a new version of this team putting its offense in his hands. He's getting all of the conversation around him and his ability that he's richly deserved for a while, and so in the interest of giving people their flowers, I'm really happy to see this on a fundamental level for a guy who's been playing this kind of ball and been meeting this kind to his team.
Janae and Golick Jr. 306 on the Quad City Sports Leader, ESPN 1170.
I'm with Axel, the Malamute from the Midwest Animal Assisted Therapy and Education Organization Community Outreach Center in North Park Mall. It looks like you're on the hunt, Axel. You're looking for someone special and their animal friend to volunteer at the Community Outreach Center? Looks like you found someone. Excuse me, Axel would like to know if you and your animal friend would like to help at the Community Outreach Center at North Park Mall. Relax, reset, and recover from the effects of COVID-19 and other feelings people are facing as our lives continue to change. He says don't worry if you don't have any experience. He'll be happy to assist you and your animal friend to prepare to help others. I'll be sure to tell them. Axel is very glad to have found you, so if you and your animal friend would like to help people at the Community Outreach Center at North Park Mall, text the word volunteer to 641-781-8025. Or go to COVID19ESA.org for details. Amazing, Axel. You sniffed him out right over the radio.
Get your sports fix while you work. Download our free mobile app and never miss a moment. From the Quad City Sports Leader, ESPN 1170 AM.
Welcome back to Don't Hassle Us, We're Local here on ESPN 1170 AM. I want to remind everybody that Just Doors QC is just like us, locally owned, and a local spot for you to take a look at. Paul Shelley is the guy to talk to at Just Doors. And anything inside, he does trim work, he does outdoor work, and you can add to the curb appeal. And right now, with the winter months coming, you might want a new front door to take care of some of those heating bills. Go ahead and give Paul a call at 309-657-8541. Go to their Facebook page, Just Doors QC. You can see their fantastic before and after photos. That's Paul at 309-657-8541. We're talking with comedian Craig Gass. And before we went to break, T-Roy brought up Eddie Van Halen.
Yes, and so I have this crazy story that in 2004, I ended up living at Eddie Van Halen's house in his recording studio, which is on his property. And it started with a concert that I was at in 2002 at the Universal Amphitheater. A buddy of mine who I ran into backstage at that show was doing me a solid by introducing me to all these cool people backstage. Like, all right, this is, I recognize a lot of rock stars. Like, hey, this is Craig's my comedian friend, and things are starting to happen for me at the time. So some of them actually knew who I was. And at one point, he says, okay, I'm going to introduce you to this guy over here. Okay, now this guy lives with one of the biggest rock stars on the planet, but don't tell him I told you that. Let me just walk over. Hey, Maddie. hey, man, this is I don't know if you're a fan of the Howard Stern show or a comedy fan. This is my friend Craig Gass. And the guy turns around and goes, oh, my God. Dude, I am like your biggest fan. I go, get out of here. So we start talking, and we exchange phone numbers. I don't know anybody in L.A., so I call him a few days later, and we make plans to go bowling. And he showed up at the bowling alley with Eddie Van Halen. And then I start putting the pieces together that, okay, so this guy is Eddie's assistant. He lives in a guest house on the property, and he runs the 5150 Studios. And he was such a fan of the show that I was on that he would get up every morning at 5 a.m. and go into the studio and work for 5 hours, 6 hours at a time so he could hear the entire radio show from beginning to end. And when I started appearing on the show, he started coming down and telling Eddie, like, oh, my God, there's this new guy on the show who does a Sam Kinison impression. You got to hear this guy. And then a week later, oh, my God, the same guy does a Gene Simmons impression. And then a week later, oh, my God, Gene Simmons showed up to confront him live in the studio. And then they almost got in a fight. And he's telling Eddie all these stories.
Wait a minute. Gene really got mad at you?
Oh, yeah. Gene got on a plane and flew to New York to confront me live on the air.
What?
Oh, yeah. Dude, it's amazing. And then, that's a whole...
Because I got a whole thing with it, but keep going. Gosh, darn it all.
So,
yeah, we'll come back to that.
Yeah, dude, we might have to just... can we stay on till Friday? Because we got to get through these stories.
Dude, we can lock ourselves in the studio. Yeah. There ain't anybody out there that's going to stop. I guarantee you, I put my fat butt in front of that door and no one's getting in. Dude.
So we end up... Eddie Van Halen is telling me my life story as he understands it at the bowling alley. And he's smoking a cigarette, and you're not supposed to be smoking in the bowling alley, and he's telling me all these stories. And at one point, he relates a story back to me that I told on the air that I talked about how broke I've been my whole life before I started making money in comedy, specifically after the Howard Stern show. And all I've ever wanted when I started making money was an illegal cable box. That's all I've ever wanted to own, was one of those illegal cable boxes that unscramble all the channels. Mm-hmm. And at the bowling alley, Eddie is sitting there going, dude, I heard you broke your whole life. I goes, that's crazy, because me too. I was broke my whole life. And he goes, and I heard that you always want a legal cable box. Is that true? And I go, yeah. And then Eddie Van Halen looks both ways, and he goes, that's crazy, because I got a legal cable box too. And I go, are you serious? And he goes, yeah. He goes, the thing is, I'm rich, but don't want to pay for cable. And I was like, are you serious? What? Like, it was one of the most surreal conversations I've ever had with somebody. And over the course
but the thing about him being broke, I mean, if you go back to listen to the stories, he kind of brags about how crappy of a car he had.
Mm-hmm. Even the guitars that he had, he brags about how he would break them down to such a simplistic level for himself that he could play something that he knew that a lot of the features on a guitar weren't necessary, and that he could break them down into a much, more basic setup. And so over the course of the next year and a half, and by the way, when I'm jumping ahead, but he always had a do-it-yourself kind of motto about fixing stuff. He liked to fix things himself, and he would always say that it keeps you honest. Keeps you honest, right? That was his whole thing. So anyway, over the course of the next year and a half, I would come over to the house, well, specifically to the recording studio, and hang out with Maddie, and Ed would show up, and we just became friends. And then I got in a really bad relationship with a girl that ended horribly one night, and we were at a party that I left for 2 minutes to go to the restroom, and when I came back, my girl was making out with a guy at the bar, and I just kind of stood there and just kind of watched it, waiting for her to realize that I'm standing there, and then she finally looked at me, and I was crushed. And I called Maddie, and I said, hey, man, you're not going to believe what happened. And Maddie said, hold on, Ed wants to talk to you. And Ed got on the phone, he goes, dude, I told you she was a whore. And I go, yeah. And he goes, oh, you're living with her. Why are you living with her? And I said, she's the only person I know besides you guys. And he said, dude, pack up your stuff, move in with me. And I said, really? Is that okay? And he goes, yeah, stay as long as you want. He goes, the only thing is, don't tell anybody, but the band's getting back together. So it's going to be noisy at night, you know? And I was like, so the only thing I have to worry about is the fact that...
So when you say the band's getting back together, was he getting back with David then?
He's getting back with Sammy in 2004. And I said,
Okay.
so the only thing I have to worry about is the fact that Van Halen is going to be jamming in the next room. And he said, well, I know you got your TV show. And I was working on a new show at the time called Las Vegas with Alec Baldwin. And so I ended up moving into the house. And then for the next 4 or 5 months... living in this recording studio, and it was surreal to have this experience of being around a guy who was a super famous guy. And, you know, I'm still living my life. Like, I took Maddie to a Metallica concert at the Forum in March of that year, and I met a girl, really nice girl, who we were texting throughout the show. And then after the show, she called me up to say, hey, I just dropped off my friends. Do you want to hang out? And I was like, sure. And she goes, where are you? And I said, I'm in the Hollywood Hills. And she goes, all right, you want me to come over? And I was like, sure. And I don't know. Let me check, and let me call you back in a minute. She goes, oh, you have a girlfriend? And I said, no, I do not. I'm
complicated.
I'm in a unique situation. So I said, I'll call you right back. And then I got a hold of Ed, and he said, I go, hey man, Ed, I don't know if Maddie told you, I met a girl and she wants to come over. Is it okay? I can keep her in the studio. Is it okay to bring a girl over? And he said, dude, get some ass. And I go, okay, cool. So, and by the way, that wasn't the body part he mentioned. So anyway, so I go, yeah. So I called her up and I said, okay, meet me at the bottom of the hill, because at the very bottom of the hill was a Ralph's supermarket there at Coldwater and Ventura. So I said, you're gonna have to leave your car there, and then I'll bring you up. So she gets in my car, and she's peppering me with questions like, why do you need permission to have somebody come? And I go, it's a unique, and I don't know how to say, like, I live with Eddie. It just sounds absurd to say I live with Eddie Van Halen. So we drive back up, and we go through the back entrance, because there's 2 entrances to get in. One's in front of the mansion, and the other one's next to the recording studio. We go through the back gate, and then I open the door to the studio. I let her walk in first. She walks in and goes, wow, is your friend like the biggest Van Halen fan on the planet or what? And I go,
kinda.
Yeah. And
now let me get it. This is the 5150 studio.
It's the 5150 Studios. It looks like an apartment building from outside.
Jay, this is.
There's four structures on the property.
I got a boner right now. Just saying. And if I follow you, don't unfollow me.
I won't. There's four. There's the original house that he moved into with Valerie, and that whole house at the time was storage. And next to that was this apartment building looking structure. That's the 5150 Studios. Then he bought the property next door and demolished the house that was there, regraded the earth, and built a mansion and a guest house. Ed lived in the mansion, Maddie lived in the guest house, I lived in the recording studio. The showers were in the guest house, so I have to come down to the... I know I'm giving you all these details, but so... Because you asked about this, the 5150 Studios.
It's great.
And but yeah, over the course of the next 4 or 5 months, and then, you know, and to answer every guy's question about the girl coming over, the answer is 2 minutes. It took 2 minutes from that moment for everything to go down. And
now, does she figure out that it was Eddie's place?
Well, she's looking around. She's looking at stuff. Oh, because I'm sorry, I skipped over the. So she's looking around and thinking, "Wow, your friend's like a big Van Halen fan." And then she starts discovering plaques where she's like, "How do you get something like that?" And I was like, "Do you hear the noise in the next room? That's Van Halen. This is Eddie Van Halen's house, and he's letting me stay here until I get back on my feet again because I just got out of a relationship." She goes, "Oh, okay." And then within 2 minutes, it was So, but
thanks, Eddie.
Yeah, it was crazy, man. There was a lot of weird moments that happened in there, and but I was grateful for the experience. So, you know, it didn't end well because I found out a year later that his assistant and my ex were actually hooking up the whole time, and they were together for over 5 years. They almost got married. So it was like, yeah, so that, but I got an incredible story out of it. So, yeah, but yeah, it was very, very surreal.
So what's the Gene Simmons?
Oh, dude.
So when I got on the Howard Stern show, I started doing impressions of people that I would sit in the background and just say awful things as different celebrities. I wouldn't just do an impression of somebody. I would put a twist on it to make it some kind of absurd. Like Al Pacino had twins. And even though Al Pacino was 7,500 years old, Al Pacino had twins with Beverly D'Angelo. And I pitched an idea where I said, how great would it be if we could have one of the babies on the show, one of Al Pacino's babies, and they sound just like Al Pacino. It's radio, it's theater of the mind. So we would do this regular thing where Howard Stern would say, so we're being joined right now by Al Pacino's baby. What do you like to do for fun, Al Pacino's baby?
What do I like to do for fun? I like to pee. You like to pee? I love to pee. My mother, Beverly D'Angelo, whenever she changes my diapers, I give her a quick squirt right in the face. Hoo-wah! And she likes it because she's a whore.
The whole thing was terrible. And so I would do all these random impressions. And then I had this story that I shared with him during a commercial break about this interview that I saw with Kiss. And he was like, oh, my God. He goes, is that really what they're like? I go, man, Gene Simmons and Paul Stanley are the most confident people on planet Earth. It's awesome. I love those guys. And we started doing the impression on the air. And then it became, every time we had a music guest in the studio, I would constantly interrupt the music guest as Gene Simmons and try to sell them crappy Kiss products. And it would annoy the guests, the music guests. And I didn't know it at the time. The real Gene Simmons actually started getting hate mail because of the crap I was saying on the air. And then Gene Simmons started putting out press releases saying that wasn't me. Because I would travel around the country now. I'm now a professional comedian. And when I would get to certain markets, there would be word that hey, Gene Simmons put out a press release saying that he's not you and that you're saying all these terrible things. And I remember him putting out a press release saying that, for the record, I was not in the Quad Cities making jokes about cancer. That was a comedian named Craig Gass. And I think I said something to the effect of because you ask me a question as Gene Simmons, I'm just going to pull something out of my ass to answer it. And somebody said, didn't Kiss really kind of invent everything in rock and roll?
That's right. Not only did Kiss invent everything in rock and roll, we invented hip-hop, we invented country music. Here's the crazy thing. Kiss invented cancer, the disease. We invented it. And you want to hear something nuts? We have a cure. But it'll cost you. Go to kissonline.com. And then so he sent out a press release saying, that wasn't me. It was a comedian. And I read the press release on the air, and I said, it was a comedian. His name is Craig Gass. And he has 2 shows at the Rhythm City Casino on Thursday night. Go to rhythmcitycasino.com. These are terrible jokes. Go see Craig Gass this weekend at Rhythm City Casino. And then one day he just showed up at the show, and our producer, Gary Delabate, ran and said, hey, guys, okay, everybody stop. We got a problem. Okay. So Gene Simmons just walked in the building. He wants to beat the crap out of Craig right now. And I was like, he's here? He's in the building? And I was like, wait a minute, Gary, we're not going to let him come up to our floor, right? We're not. And Gary's just walking out the room, and I go, Gary, we're not going to let Gene Simmons come up to our floor, right? And he goes, well, all the security guards are big Kiss fans. They've already let him in without a pass. And I was like, oh, my God, Gene just walked right in because he was Gene Simmons, and they didn't even stop him, and he showed up. And I remember Howard looking at me and going, Craig, come here. This is going to be the best show I've ever done. And I was like, for who? Not for me. And he goes, and then.
Well, these guys had an issue with Gene.
Who did?
Yeah,
Dwyer
Michaels, yeah.
Oh, well, see, we get a cardboard cutout of one.
Oh, that's hilarious. Yeah, they told me about they were playing me tape of it.
Oh, yeah, they had a bad run-in with Gene.
Well, here's the crazy thing. I started doing the Gene Simmons impression. Everyone that works with Kiss
starts privately reaching out to me and saying, I have a story for you. I have a story for you. And everybody's like, and I go, I can't say that on the air. I remember a friend of mine, Dave, who works with the Red Hot Chili Peppers, called me up and said, hey man, I'm with the Chili Peppers and we're recording a new album. And the guy who owns the studio is a huge fan of yours. Can I put him on the phone? And I go, yeah, of course. And the guy goes, man, he goes, I love all your impressions, especially your Gene Simmons, because Gene was the first guy to ever screw me over in this business. And I thought you would appreciate the story. Maybe you can use it. Gene came to my studio a few years ago to produce an album for this band. And at the last minute, he wanted to switch into my largest facility for the same amount of money. And when he showed up, he said, did you get my message? I want to move to Studio A. And I said, I did. I actually called you back. I don't know if you got my message, but someone is using Studio A, and I asked them if they would switch, and they said no. And he went, do they know that Gene Simmons from Kiss is here? And he goes, you know what? If you want to ask them, you can. I'm not going to ask them again. He goes, all right, where's Studio A? And he goes, it's all the way down the hall. It's the last door on the right. So Gene Simmons goes,
Craig, I'm going to have to hold you on because we're going to lose everybody on ESPN 1170 AM, but we're still on Facebook Live.
No, let's keep.
No, we're still on Facebook Live. We'll tell the story, but I have to
see if Ryan can switch it.
I'm telling people 1170 AM. It's fine. We'll see. I'll try to switch it. I apologize.
Gene Simmons goes all the way down the hall and opens up the door to Studio A, looks and sees the Wu-Tang Clan recording an album, slowly closes the door, comes back up to the front and goes, right, where's Studio B? He never even opened his mouth to the Wu-Tang Clan. Did we go off on 1170 or?
No, you're fine. We're still on, I believe. I'm live assist, so we can't cuss or anything, but yeah.
Okay.
We're still on. Yeah.
So we're still on 1170?
I believe so. Either way, we're on Facebook Live. Yeah. Okay.
He told us when we had good shows, we need to keep going.
Yeah.
This is his own fault.
Yeah.
You know what, dude? I'm not kidding. We should do this again either tomorrow or.
You've got an open invite.
Yeah, all right, cool.
Good.
Let's
come back tomorrow.
If you want to talk sports, I mean, the thing is when I said off the air, like this is like what you talk about at happy hour.
Yeah.
I'm sure you get the same questions, and we just want to follow your lead and hear and then
Listen,
ask.
we'll pick the games. We'll pick every game straight up tomorrow.
Okay.
Yeah.
Then we'll go kind of do our regular crap.
Yeah. All right, listen, we'll do it again.
Yep.
We'll exchange phone numbers and we're gonna continue because I got so much more I wanted to tell you guys.
That would be great.
I mean, the Gene Simmons thing to me is like as a kid growing up, Kiss, man. It's practice 70s, same as you.
Yeah.
I mean, I still have a bunch of Kiss album vinyl.
Oh, yeah.
And it was like, man, I dressed as Gene Simmons for Halloween, and not just like you buy it from the store. My mom made it from Goodwill, you know?
Oh, yeah.
And all I ever wanted to do is have a long tongue and spit blood.
Yeah. Dude,
and now the guy's a jerk.
Well, no,
But that's what I want to know. Was he a jerk to you? Or did he really try to fight you?
He actually has an incredible sense of humor, and it led to this insane thing where I started doing shows with Kiss. And the flip side of that, and this is insane, the Kiss Army is mad at me now because of something I did while performing with Kiss that upset the Kiss fans. It's such a matrix that I got caught in the middle of, and we'll get to that when I come back. It'll either be tomorrow or Thursday. But yeah, dude, it's Rhythm City Casino. It's two shows, 6:30 and 8:30. It's rhythmcitycasino.com.
And that's Thursday night.
Thursday night. Yeah,
Yep. The Quad Cities, just north off of there in Elmore. You guys know where it is.
Yeah.
Our friends from there, the Elite Sportsbook, Draft Day Lounge, everything. Craig, yes, we'll exchange. We'll talk as soon as we get off the air. And you've got an open invite for the next 2 days. I mean, it's the Quad Cities, not too much to do.
Yeah.
So, but again,
there's all kinds of bars.
Yeah, well, yeah, you got bars you can go to, whatever else. But,
I mean, Craig doesn't shoot me
I
as a kind of guy
appreciate
that
the
doesn't like
time.
to drink.
It's been awesome, and I can't wait to do this again. And I was going to wait to get off the air to say, like, if you feel, if you'd like to, would you come back or whatever?
We're just getting started.
Because we're going to have a lot of fun.
And I have to tell you more Super Bowl stuff because there's I pissed off Cam Newton, and I didn't expect to piss off Cam Newton. I did an amazing thing with Peyton Manning that ended up with 2 million views within 24 hours. And yeah, there's a lot of sports stuff and a lot, but the Gene Simmons stuff itself is hours and hours of
tomorrow's show is going to be called "Don't Hassle Us, We Have a Boner."
Yeah.
All right, we'll be back tomorrow, ESPN 1170. Take care, Quad City. Stay safe and sanitized. Don't have a hassle-free Tuesday.
Then by the 6th, 7th round, when they're hard at that point, you're swinging with bricks, basically.
but it suits your style. You're going to grind it out anyway. And now it's impossible. You're in great shape. It's impossible. You got bricks for fists, and you can take a punch. Ooh, that's the wrong dude to give those literal weapons, right? Well, when you think about a defensive line with Aaron Donald on it, ain't going to be much of a pocket usually, right? So what does that mean? Well, if you're playing a quarterback like Nick